we're doing some AMA here, and somebody's asking a question. Poor Much Rose is asking a question. Why doesn't this work in Python? And I love this question because it's a good opportunity for me to bash Python. The short answer is the reason this doesn't work is because you're not dealing with what you think you are dealing with. And that is the essence of a loose language. Python's stricter than most loose languages, but it's still pretty damn loose. And so there's a couple of problems right off the bat right here, right? So the first one is that right here, you're using a decimal type. Okay, that is an object type, and decimal is a class. It's not a type as in float, you know, string, character, boolean, that kind of thing. Decimal is a class, and decimal 1,000 million trillion kabillion, or whatever this is actually a constructor that puts inside of a instance of the decimal class. It is not a number. It's not a number in the sense that floats and ints are numbers, right? It's one of this other class, right? Now, so then you go try to print it out, and it can't even print it. First of all, why can't it print it? Which is another problem. The reason it can't print it is because it's too friggin' big. What's the maximum number anybody can use? Let's do a little bit of math here, okay? The reason that you have to use decimal class, by the way, is because you cannot do this as a floating point number. It's too big, right? I mean, you can, but it's not going to be as accurate. And, you know, I'll give Python credit. They did create this because they wanted hyper accuracy using very, very, very large numbers. And so you can do that. Other languages, you would not have that level of accuracy because they would have to resort to a floating point number. What does that mean? So first of all, the maximum number anything can be on a 64-bit computer is 2 to the 64th minus 1 for signing. So, you know, you have 1 bit for plus or minus, or for negative or pies. So on most modern computers, right? So let's do that math. So let's set the scale to 2 in BC. Let's say 2 to the 64 in computer speak is like that. And then we'll, let's just do that one. So bang, bang. Let me show you. I know somebody's going to ask me how I did that, so I'm going to show you. All right, I'm going to do it again. So bang, bang, BC. I'm sending that to my BC calculator. Hit enter, and it gives me the number. So as you can see, this number is substantially larger. Let's see how much larger. All right, so let's do that to BC. You should see it's that much larger than the other one. So yeah, it's gonna fall out of. It's gonna not have enough room. So that might be the first start of the problem. And then the second start of the problem is when you try to do stuff together, right? And you can't do that. You can't do that because it just doesn't work. So like if I were to do, I mean, let's just do some interactive Python here. Oops. I hope I don't crash my computer. So Python 3. Let's try it. So if we did this, let's see if we can do this. Just do this interactively. Let's type this. I've only got 5 minutes, but so there. It's like no. Can't even do that. In fact, the decimal. I don't know decimal. I haven't looked it up. I'm pretty sure you have to add an integer. Nope. I don't remember it. I haven't used it in a very long time, but I'm just telling you that it's a different thing. So let's go figure it out. I mean, we got a little time. Python decimal is broken before it is given to, yeah. Hi, Strager. To fix the first problem, give decimal a string instead of a float. Right. So that's the first problem. Great. Thanks for tuning in to Strager here too. So I was just about to go check out that class. I didn't realize that class took a string constructor. See, you can't even indicate a number that's that big on, yeah, because it blows, it's over the, you know what? I have to test something right now. Oh, I do. I have to test something right now. So can I even do this? I don't think you can. Maybe you can. Okay, it gives a shot at it. All right, so A is, yeah, I did pretty good. So that's interesting. So the internals for floats are fine. Yeah, there we go. So that's a floating point representation of the number. And it is exactly not the same number as it used to be before, right? But so there's a ton of problems here. The first one is the number's way too big. Another obvious one that Strager noticed that I missed is that it's not quoted, which is also counterintuitive. I would not have dreamed of quoting a number to create a number. I don't have to do this in Go, and I get 100, direct accuracy. So, and then the other problem is you're trying to use the two things that are you can't, once you make it a decimal, you have to use whatever the decimal class's operators are. I don't even think you can, actually it might have operator overloading, does it? Do you guys know if it has operator overloading? I'm pretty sure it does, right? So an operator overload is when a class decides to make its own operators so that it looks like you're doing math when you're actually not doing it. You're using something else. And so here we go. We're going to go ahead and do, yeah, no, it's not having it. Decimal is not defined. Is it EL or is that a thing? Decimal, it's ILEL. AL. No, that's fine. Decimal, that's interesting. I would have expected it to be supported. Python decimal mod. Oh, we have to do import decimal. Oh no, we didn't do the import. Okay, fine, thanks. Duh. Decimal import splat, which you should never do. Never import splat, people. Never import splat. I'm not going to get into all the Python stuff we can talk about right now, but it's a bad idea that doesn't let you know. If say you import three things, I'm going to do a different video on that. Okay, so let's see if we can do it now. So let's do B equals 10,000. This is an actual number. So A plus B, it might do it. Nope, there you go. Still can't do it. So it doesn't need the import. Yeah. So the three problems with this are one, wait, two, what's going on here? All right, so there's several problems here, but D, and that was not there. Wait, okay, so there's several problems here. So the first is one, the biggest integer you can create is this. So 2 to the 64 minus 1. So second, there are several problems to the way Python handles numbers. Okay, so decimal is a class constructor. Okay, decimal is a class constructor that takes a string. Counterintuitively. Which is, it's just crazy. I don't like that at all. That's like the second problem. Okay, the third problem is that decimal, this is going to sound crazy, but decimal type is not strictly a number. And so it gets around, it gets, yeah. The decimal type gets around the problem of dealing with very large numbers that cannot be accurately represented by computers with a maximum of 2 to the 64 minus 1. But it itself, but when you use it, you have to use it for everything. No context though, yeah. I don't think you could do an operator with this one because it's got too many parts. Yeah, I was just spitballing, I don't know. So, this is the reason, actually, anyway. Yeah, we'll put this up at the top. And you guys can take a look at that, and that'll be in the video when we're done. So, you can't have a number that big, so you have to use a decimal class. If you use a decimal class, you have to counterintuitively build a to-do number decimal by sending it a string, because you can't even represent a number that big. If you were to put an actual number, which you can do, you would already introduce errors because you'd already have converted it into a float. And the whole point of the decimal class is so that it's not a float ever. It never becomes a float at any time, and therefore it gives you like extreme accuracy because it deals with a bunch of integers in a way that can be manipulated safely. And that's nice that you even have that option. If you're in a language that's more strictly typed like Go or something, they have libraries that do the same thing, but a lot of times people will just use floats, and then they'll be okay with whatever the order of maximum significant whatever zero position is on it, so you can make sure that you're in a certain range. For a long time, there was only integer division. This is one of the reasons the shell only still does integer division, because they're like, no. We never want you to deal with floating point numbers at all, unless you're going to use something that can deal with them, which is like what BC does, or like decimal class or something like that. So it's also the reason that Z shell is dangerous, which is a different video, because Z shell tries to do floating point math and doesn't do the right thing. And then that leads you to think you can do it in shell, and then you go to do it in shell because it's similar, and then you end up screwing up because you can't do it at all. The best solution there is to just not try to do floating point math in shell. If you're going to do it, pick something like Python and use the decimal class and learn how to use it, or use the equivalent classes in whatever language you have. So that's what's going on, yeah. So the difference between floating point and decimal, in a nutshell, is that floating point is an internal built-in method of doing numbers that uses your floating point processor, which in the old days you used to have to pay extra for. And decimal is a class. It's a class that represents a number that was made by somebody, not the internal representation of a number that comes with a computer. That's what a floating point is. And so the other internal type, you can probably guess, is integers. You can use those too. This is you hear things like int32, float 32. The types in Go, there's like 8 of them. int32, 16. It's all how many bits do you get to use? How many zeros and ones do you get to use? And by the way, if you really want to understand this stuff, I strongly recommend that you learn base 2 so that you can start practicing your numbers and how big they are and what the maximums are and whether you want to use this or not, and play around with bitfield and stuff. That's a really great way to get used to this number stuff. Thanks for Strager for the guest appearance here in this little video of ours, and that's all. I'm just going to close up now.